Today is Back to the Future Day. We're going to the future, Mark. What's going on with the BCC in the future? What's going on with the Hurt Syndicate in the future? Who do you think is going to end Cody Rhodes' reign as undisputed WWE Universal Champion?
I would have liked to think that it would be The Rock.
Ugh,
but
that hurts.
Gunther would be my next choice. And I'm going to tell you why I say The Rock. Because the bloodline is in turmoil. And leadership and ownership of who is going to be the lead in the bloodline is the most imminent thing in the bloodline future. When you say future, we're talking about the future. So I'm going back to the future. I said on Saturday, I see Solo getting the hell beat out of him by all the rest of the members of this new bloodline, and Roman having to lay down and apologize to him and welcome him back into the bloodline, the original bloodline, with Jimmy and Jay after he's apologized to them for him being not a benevolent leader. Now The Rock has his team, and he can bring other people in. There's other people out there in their family bloodline that would do his biddings. And male and female, which would create a bloodline saga with Roman Reigns being the babyface, as we predicted 2 years ago when he got leukemia, and we said that he would come back and be the biggest babyface in WWE. That's going to be the future. And it's going to take for The Rock to be the champion with the rest of the bloodline and being able to actually hold up a real valid title, not the Muhammad Ali memorial
people's
title.
champion or whatever.
The
I
people,
can't believe it.
Stop it. Hold up a real WWE championship, and now you have something. Because The Rock being able to hold that title up with the Utafala on, and Roman chasing would make for a hell of a WrestleMania. And Cody and Gunther is my next Back to the Future saga. To be able to see Cody lose the title and Gunther be champion would be my next futuristic booking.
And I'm wondering if Cody continues with the bloodline, because to your point with The Rock did beat Cody at WrestleMania 40. He pinned Cody night number 1 of WrestleMania 40. Then we saw Cody beat Roman Reigns to become champion. But I actually think Cody's going in a different direction here. I could be totally off base here, so follow me. It's going to sound a little crazy, but I don't think a member of the bloodline is going to dethrone Cody. I actually think with the bloodline, it's more about the family. It's more about blood. It's really not about championships. I think the bloodline story is going to go in a completely different direction, and it's really going to be about that head of the table. And I think Jacob Fatu is going to get involved. Obviously, Solo, Roman, and The Rock. Because ultimately, the end of the story has to be Roman Reigns beating The Rock and being that head of the table. So I think Cody's going in a completely different direction here. And
At this WrestleMania?
I think the person who's going to dethrone Cody ultimately is going to be Randy Orton. I think Randy Orton is going to beat Cody Rhodes, go one step closer to being the most wins, the most championships in the WWE. And then it's going to be that personal struggle and that story between Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. I think the next person
that means Cody, a lot to you, don't it? It means a lot to you to see who is holds the record for the most WWE championships. That means a lot to you.
It does. It does in some respect, but it also that personal relationship between Randy and Cody. You're never going to get that type of relationship when it comes to Cody Rhodes. Now, this is the guy who was wearing the pink robe, screaming and yelling about The Rock. But I really do feel like when it comes to any kind of story, it's got to be personal. And I think when it comes to being personal, it's Randy Orton.
So that means that Kevin Owens is going to have to come and do a double mess up. He's with the intention on damaging Cody or interfering with Randy to get back at Cody, and then doing it to Cody for Randy to get it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, when it comes to Kevin, this could be the story just for now. But I think ultimately the person who's going to beat Cody Rhodes is going to be Randy Orton. And Randy Orton's going to be your champion. He's going to screw over Cody, the guy who mentored him, the guy who brought him in as part of Legacy. And I think Randy's going to stab Cody in the back, and that's going to be your story in your match for WrestleMania 41.
Wow.
This is going to be very interesting for me because how long is Cody Rhodes going to hold that championship? And there might be fans, too, when it comes to Cody, that Cody's future could be turning heel. We could have fans. I keep hearing about Cody's really a heel. Maybe Cody turns heel. So you know what? The calls are coming.
Did you hear him Saturday or Monday?
Sounded a little heelish.
Oh, man, the way that he talked. And I will go down as a guy that I'm like, what in the hell? Am I listening to Judas Priest backwards or some shit? Like, Cody sound evil. He sound very evil, Dave. And you had to admit that. Me and Bully, we were on you a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
About Cody sounding evil. Tell me he didn't sound evil this past week.
Yeah, but you know what? I kind of like that.
Yeah,
that doesn't necessarily mean he's turning heel, though. I do think there's a lot of fans that think he's going to turn heel at some point.
I think he's playing with us now. He knows that that we say this and that we see this about him, and he just gaslighting us. That's all it is.
To me, it'd be crazy to turn Cody. It would be crazy to turn Cody heel with the business the WWE is doing right now, and as popular as Cody is, I just don't see it happening. I think we got to find that next obstacle. You just said that
Randy is the guy.
Randy's the guy.
You don't think that they can do the same thing with Randy?
I think Randy is always, to me, a heel. Like, I know right now he's a babyface, he's loved, but Randy, to me, is always a heel. Randy plays better as a heel, and if he turned on Cody, those fans would turn on Randy. I think they would turn on him with no problem at all. Looking at some of the biggest storylines in pro wrestling, and we're going to kind of jump ahead and predict what might happen. And Mark, you did a great job of taking the conversation about the Hurt Syndicate and joining the conversation with this new version of the Blackpool Combat Club or whatever it is now with Jon Moxley. And I'm going to jump in on the conversation because one of the things
I think it can stay the Blackpool Combat Club. It's just that you got to bring in people that can fight, people that can compete with the opposition. Josh Woods is a fighter, Olympic level wrestler. You need that. If you don't have that, you're not going to win.
All right, I'm gonna jump in here though with the Hurt Syndicate. You ready? And this is me jumping ahead and predicting the future. What's going on here?
Go for it.
So you got MVP. MVP's the guy. You got Shelton Benjamin. I think at some point you're going to get Bobby Lashley. You thought of somebody I didn't even think of, Powerhouse Hobbs. I mean, Powerhouse Hobbs would really reinvent Hobbs and automatically make him a part of the main event scene. Somebody I would grab from Ring of Honor, Shane Taylor. Bring Shane Taylor in to be a part of the Hurt Syndicate. You mentioned you need a female presence because we got Marina Shafir on the other side. Athena, your Ring of Honor women's champion. Have Athena a part of this faction as well. And here's the one that, yeah, why not? Why not? But here's a name that I think is going to happen. And this is a little bit of prediction, and I could be completely wrong. I think Swerve is going to be a part of the Hurt Syndicate at some point. I think MVP is going to take him from Prince Nana. You're going to see Prince Nana go away for a little while. Mark and I love Nana, but for Swerve to be hated and feared, I think in a lot of ways he's got to distance himself from Prince Nana. I could see Swerve Strickland being a part of the Hurt Syndicate as well.
I can too. I think that, you know, the thing with Nana would be pretty easy. I think that you can also add an element of Nana being out of work is a story. Stokely, of course, is trying to court Private Party and mentor and coach them and manage them. You could do the same thing with Nana and Top Flight, or you can have Nana go, hey, man, not a good time right now. Swerve, let me go. And I always believed in you boys, and I'd love to be able to represent you. You know, like, go in and do what you got. Work with what you got. You got good groceries. I've been saying that since before I even went to AEW. They got tools. And man, Dave, Brody King and Aleister Black, imagine Moxley going to them going, guys, we never seen eye to eye. But they're deep over there. We need warriors. We need people that can really go. And there ain't nobody here I respect more. And now you give Moxley more edge, more communicative skills other than him being a wild man. I love the wild man, but I need calculation. I need leadership. I want to see Moxley be somebody that rivals Jericho and Danielson on the microphone. And what's going to happen when Samoa Joe come back? Come on, Dave. There's so many tools in the shed.
Well, that's the thing, Mark, and I feel like with AEW, you know, we talk about stories, and that's true. But also, you and I are both Cowboy fans. I bring this all the time. Why was Jimmy Johnson such a success? Because he had talented players, and he put his players in the best scenario to succeed. And in a lot of ways, AEW has done that, but in a lot of ways, AEW hasn't done that. And now you've lost Danielson, you've lost Sting, you've lost some big names. You know, Edge is out right now, Adam Copeland. There's a lot of big stars and big names that are out. But also there's a lot of big names and stars that you had that you didn't do anything with. Like, you know, Saraya should be looked upon much bigger in AEW than she is. Like, look at Mercedes right now. Mercedes is in a slump because I don't think they put Mercedes in the right place to succeed. I don't think they put her in the right. And we talked about this on Friday with Nick. Like, I almost feel like Mercedes needs a reset right now because they didn't put her in the best place to succeed when she first came to AEW. You know, first impressions mean a lot, especially when you're going from one company to another, Mark.
And if you feel like you failed and you need a reset, there's no time like the present. Drop the CEO and then say, look, I don't know why you're dancing and hanging out, but you're a shadow of the queen, of the dominant force that you used to be. And I can see MVP saying that. I can see Moxley saying it. Why are you relegating yourself to dances and this facade to hide away from who we know you really to be? Somebody that was a world champion, that went to Japan and dominated, that came to AEW, and everybody thought that it was going to be all about you. And what have you done? And let her answer with passion, with, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe I need to go look in the mirror. But before I go look, I want some blood on my face, and it ain't going to be mine. And have her go to the ring and whoop somebody's ass like the matches she had with Becky Lynch. And she can take some blood and wipe it across her forehead and come back. How was that? That's what we need in the Blackpool Combat Club. Bro, let me turn my fan back on, Dave. I'm too hot.
No, but I can picture what you're saying with MVP, and I definitely want to get the nation's take. Calls are coming in, 877-344-4893, 877-FIGHT-93, especially right here when it comes to the Hurt Syndicate and the Blackpool Combat Club, Mark, and the fact that, you know, I can hear those words coming out of MVP's mouth. Yeah. Like saying, like, we used to work together at another place, and you were regarded as one of the greatest women wrestlers, world champion. You started an evolution. What are you doing here? What's going on here? Like, you're chasing a hug. Why do you need Camille at your side? Why do you need a bodyguard? You need somebody here to help you? Like, that's not the person that I knew. That's not the person I used to work with. And get a different version of Mercedes Moné. Like you said, drop that whole facade of the CEO. It didn't work. You know what? And maybe even like with Saraya, with Moxley, like, you're not the same person I used to know. You were born into pro wrestling. This is all your family ever did. What happened to you? This isn't the person I used to know. You started an evolution. You started a revolution. Now all of a sudden you're just an also-ran? When's the last time you were competing for a world championship? When's the last time you dominated a women's division? Like, I think Moxley's right. Like, Moxley said, I hate what AEW's become. As a fan of AEW, Mark, I kind of agree with him. I hate what AEW has become. This company needs a wake-up call right now. Yeah. So use that. Use that as part of this story, because right now, what are they fighting towards? Is it power? Is there a power struggle going on? Use this as ammunition in your stories, because the company needs a reset right now, Mark.
Dave, you know what every club needs? A coach, an analyst. Serena D would be so good if she was to go and evaluate every match. She's standing there with a clipboard, and then she goes back and says, Moxley, this is what it is. And Moxley go, good point. And then Moxley go and berate people and say, look, all the analytics are right here. You do this, you do that, and you lose. I need you to change that tonight. Are we clear? Like, be the boss. Now you give your guys a reason to win because they're studied, because it was pre-thought. Like, it's just like all of the stuff that I grew up in wrestling watching, and every story of how to do that I've learned from Rip Rogers and Jimmy Cornette and the brilliant minds of pro wrestling, the Pat Pattersons of the world and the Bret Harts. Everything was calculated thought. And that's not what you're getting as a wrestling fan, and that's where you have a disconnect.
Let me ask you this. Where do you think this is going to lead to, Mark? Like, do you think there's, a Shane McMahon waiting in the wings, or do you don't even think that's possible? In your heart of hearts, do you think eventually
I think that
this is going to be him coming into the fold?
I think that anything is possible. I think that that's 100% possible. And the brain trust of how to do and telling people what to do. Because I'm going to tell you something. Just because you got a pencil and paper do not make you a writer. It makes you a scribe. Like, to be a pro wrestling writer, the psychology of the Bible has got to be what you lead with. Good and evil. And then you go from there. And you tell individual stories that coincide with other people, which is hard to do. At 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, the same day. You got to do it a week out, 3 weeks out, 6 weeks out. If somebody gets hurt, then you got to go to plan B. Something on TV not working, sometimes you scrap it too quick. It's like Novocaine. It'll work. Eventually it's gonna sink in.
But you got to have a long-term plan. Like, I would hope like AEW knows what they're going to do. Like, they know what the outcome is going to be 3 months, 6 months from now, Mark, that we're predicting.
I want that for the talent, but that's not what you got. You know, you got brilliant minds in production. You know, they had some hiccups with sound. Go to the sound guys and go, hey, we're not going to have any more sound issues. Go, the cameramen missing stuff, being late to get back to the shots, shooting stuff you shouldn't shoot. Like, all of that stuff got to be buttoned up and tightened up. And it can be, but you got to be empowered to do that. I think that Shane McMahon going and being that force would be a good idea. They're obviously not going to listen to nobody else.
But would they listen to Shane?
If you get paid $3 to $5 million to go in and tell everybody else what to do, are you going to get fired? You want to work the indies? Fucking indies are calling. You do what I tell you or you're out of here. I'll bring somebody in here that can do your job just as good as you can. Maybe better. You're on the end. You want to stay in? It's raining outside. I'll run your ass right out in the rain. That's what you need. That's AEW don't have that. There's no teeth. There's no power. Tony is the only one powerful.
You need somebody that I'm not even going to say fear, but respect might be a better word.
Both. You need both. Because I want to like my boss. But more than anything, I want to respect my boss because he knows how to delegate duties. Because there's no individual boss of any industry that know every damn thing. Very few. I'm sure there are some guys, they can go do production, lighting, sound. They can write the stories. They can go and cook catering. They can move all the boxes. But why? Delegate duties. Put people in check. There are people that walk around AEW bragging about writing. Hey, well, I'm writing this thing with you. Shut the fuck up and write. I don't want to hear you unless I'm working with you on this particular thing. Don't tell me shit. They trying to swing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
I don't want to hear swinging. Don't swing it. Go and do your job. Hey, go to the talent. Hey, man, how can I make you look better? Tell me something I don't know that I can write into this. Dictate to all the talent. Go to the announce team. Tell them something about you every day. And say, hey, man, write this down because I'm not going to remember this shit tomorrow. Like, go and be, everybody got to be on the same unit. And it's not.
Because the commentators are your cheerleaders. Those little nuggets that they use during the broadcast is only going to help you get over.
Yeah, yeah.